One of the first activities that meerkats will undertake is excavating, and anytime you see them getting up in the morning, you always see them starting to dig, sometimes a little bit at cross purposes with one another, sometimes with not a whole lot of organization, but digging and cleaning out the burrows is definitely one of their major activities. Notice that when meerkats are active, almost from the very first one that comes out of the burrow and through everything that they do, no matter what it is and no matter how many are up, there's always going to be at least one that's on sentinel duty, looking around, checking in all directions, listening to all kinds of sounds. It's not easy when you're on the bottom of the food chain, or nearly on the bottom, which is where meerkats are. They've got to be worried about land predators, air predators, and just about everything else.
You hear them?
Mm-hmm. It's like a rat.
As it gets warmer, more of the meerkats are becoming active, but it's still a little bit too cool and a little bit too early for the pups to start to come out. They're generally going to be the last ones that leave the burrow for the obvious reason that they're the most insecure, they're the hardest to keep warm, and they're obviously the most vulnerable to predators.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of a bucket brigade thing going on now with the digging. You can see two of these pretty clearly, but there's also one down in the burrow itself, and they're all throwing dirt backward toward the next one up the line, till eventually it ends up in the pile at the top.
Yeah, and facing the darker underbelly towards the sun, it looks like a little solar panel.
On the list of important meerkat activities, digging is obviously first, and grooming and similar social activities are second. Meerkats are social animals like a lot of animals in the wild, and they reinforce their social bonds by grooming at one another and by close physical contact. You can see this among the adults and also between the adults and the pups. Sometimes it looks like the groomers and the diggers get into each other's way a little bit. Eventually, as it gets warmer, you'll start to see signs that the bravest of the pups are stirring, looking to see what the adults are doing and checking the temperature to see whether it's warm enough for them to come out. Pups will often have a babysitter close by because they're too small and too vulnerable to wander around on their own.
I also want a bit of sun.
Even babysitters can get a little careless, I guess.
Look how tiny. Now they're gonna have a hard time getting up there.
Eventually, the babysitter gets back to business. You can see here that these meerkats are pretty well habituated to human presence. They allow us to approach fairly closely. They're not tremendously concerned when we move around or anything like that, but they are vigilant about us as they are about everything else around them. They're also vigilant about the pups, and you can see here that one of them has noticed that the pups are starting to emerge from the burrow.
All four of them. One made it.
It's a big world out there, and it's also pretty cold by their standards as it's morning in the Kalahari. So some of the young ones are going to take any opportunity to run back inside. We now see a clear example of meerkat roles. Some of them are being cuddling, some of them are being vigilant, and some of them are just being cute. Some of the adults can be a little bit careless, of course. It's hard when there are so many little ones around to avoid an occasional collision.
No, well, these pups are still too young to go out foraging.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they'll stay here with the babysitter.
Yeah, they'll have babysitters.
Mm-hmm. At what age do they start to go out?
They might move them pretty soon to another system. They'll carry them.
Oh, why?
That's just to move in the area, going to a new foraging ground.
Oh,
Like they've been there for a time, so moving the area is not a bad thing. In terms of predators, taking them out.
and then
But I
how?
would say from about a month they'll start to forage
About a
around
month.
the burrow system
Mm-hmm.
with the babysitter,
Mm.
but they won't be able to forage for themselves. They'll be fed by the rest of the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Animal behavioralists call the tendency for the young to cuddle up to something warm and soft contact comfort. And it seems like for the little meerkats, the desire for contact comfort conflicts a little bit with the desire to be adventurous or perhaps to play with your
I
friends.
wanted to play them both.
Look at that one hiding between the legs.
That's fantastic.
Look at that. Tom, you see the one hiding between the legs?
I got that.
Oh, God, that's so cute. That is so cute. Look at him.
That's great.
Oh, that is
21
adorable.
is the magic number.
Yeah, look at this one.
Thank you. Alright, Kalahari scrub robin at the top of the tree, right above them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of shivering.
Yeah, I see that one. Yeah.
You can see that the pups are getting a little bolder or perhaps a little warmer, and they're moving around a little more freely. They're running in and out of the burrow and trying to keep up with one or the other of the adults.
How funny was it when he was carrying them?
Oh, that's so cute.
Where are you going with them?
If an adult meerkat wants to move one of the pups, either because it's in the way of something in some danger, or perhaps they just feel like moving them around, they do what many animals do, and that is pick them up by the scruff of the neck. And a reflex that meerkats have, again common with many other animals, is that the young will go completely limp when that happens to make sure that they're not injured by trying to escape.
I guess that's Mom. I know they all take care of them, though, right?
Mom will be out foraging.
Oh, she will be.
Yeah. Because she's got to keep feeding them,
Y-
suckle them.
Yeah. It's like she's holding him.
Here you see that the pups also are groomed, and the young learn the social behaviors of the group very quickly so that they mimic adults at a very young age, or at least they try to.
those meerkats.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a growing fur ball in the background, you can see that the sentinel meerkats take great care to keep an eye on things. They're always making sure that there's nothing sneaking up on them or no one's running away.
Now, is there just one dominant male in the group?
Yeah, it's the same like the wild dogs, one male, one female.
One
that
male,
does the
one
breeding.
female. Mm-hmm.
But I
Meerkats are found throughout the drier parts of Africa, like the Kalahari, and it's not difficult to find them in any such areas, but in most cases, you're not going to be able to approach them. They'll run back into their burrows almost immediately when they see a person. Even the slightest movement will startle them, and you'll see a vast empty area instead of a lot of scurrying meerkats. So if you want to see them, you need to make sure that you go to a reserve where they're actually accessible, where they're somewhat habituated to human presence. And if you do, you're going to find it a very worthwhile experience.